Hello, I'm Salam. I'm in my shack. It's cold, wet, and rainy outside. And a hawk got one of my chickens this morning. Hasn't been a great day, but we're going to change it up. So we're going to do another unboxing of all this stuff. Let's get started. Okay, we're going to try to move through these real quickly because there's a lot to go through and I don't want to draw this out. So without further ado, we're going to start with this Dauphin DTR-1 in the original box. There's actually two of them, as you can probably see in the background here. I'll explain that second one in a moment, but first let's pull this one out. And this is the CPU unit. Now the Dauphin DTR-1 is a really interesting computer. It's basically one of the earliest of Palm Tops. Not the earliest. There were probably several on the market. The Momenta, I forget who made that one, and you know, the original Go computers and stuff. But this was a very interesting attempt at a Palm Top pen-based computer from the early 90s, I believe 1992. So what we have here is the Dauphin DTR-1 itself, power supply, power cord. That's all that comes in this box right here. Let's just plug it in really quick to show you that this one is actually operational. I have to try to do this with one hand, so bear with me, please. And okay, I'm going to plug it in, and here we go. You can see the on light is there, and it's charging. I believe that means it's charging the battery. Let's see, there's a switch here somewhere. There it is. Turn this on, and we should have heard a beep. Okay, well, there is something on the screen. It's just really hard to see. I don't believe these are backlit. Unfortunately, I don't know if I'm going to be able to get this. And another problem is this power connector is loose, so it may well have just turned off again. Let's see, here we go. It's booting up. Again, just can't see it in this light. It's off. There we go. You can kind of see there. It's booting up. Try to zoom in on that. No external keyboard detected. 640K base memory. All good. Okay, so now here it's waiting for you to tap the screen. It's been a while. The CMOS data says up here, CMOS default configuration are in effect. Pen calibration values may be corrupted. So basically at this point you just have to recalibrate the pen and it'll boot right up. For, again, time reasons, I don't want to go entirely into it. As I mentioned, this connector is loose. I think if I jiggle it around, you'll see, yep, it just rebooted there. So that's going to need to be soldered. Fortunately, it's actually pretty easy to get into these. I'm probably maybe going to do the repair myself. But you can, let's see, this cover slides off. I can't do it with one hand. I can't do it. But anyway, this cover slides off. It's really easy to access. There's two screws on either side, and then it kind of all comes apart from there. All right, let's put this back in the box for now, and I'll show you the other accessories that come with the DTR-1. We've got, this is basically the case and the pen. So it's this nice, I don't know if this is actual leather or faux leather, probably faux leather. But at any rate, we got the keyboard in here and the pen, the stylus, and it connects to the computer right there. So it is a complete keyboard-based pen top. You know, you don't have to use the pen for everything. Okay, let's just set this over here for now. And finally, this box of accessories that comes with it. And just take a moment here, look at the base box. It's, you know, in pretty decent condition. A little bit dirty here and there, and some dents and stuff. But otherwise, you know, these are in pretty nice shape. Okay, anyway, so here is the accessory box. We've got basically the Windows, let's see, what is here? There's windowing software, there's pen extensions for Windows. Okay, so there's those diskettes. This is, I believe, the rest of the pen-based software in here. Let's see, yep, here's the software utilities and PenCell, pen-based spreadsheet. Microsoft Windows, I believe that's 3.1, might be 3.0. It's shrink-wrapped. The original discs are all inside here in the license agreement envelope, so I'm not going to open that. I'll let the buyer do that. MS-DOS 6.0 manual, and the Dauphin DTR-1. They called it a desktop replacement. But anyway, here's your manual for it. And we got a certificate of authenticity for Windows or DOS, one of the two. And then this here's another Microsoft thingy. So It's a complete unit. As you can see, everything's included, and it works. It just has a minor problem with the power connector, and the CMOS battery needs to be replaced. The other unit right here is basically a complete unit. I think it doesn't have as complete a collection of software. Maybe a couple discs are missing. That unit also works. It has the same problem with the power connector as this one does, but it's more affected. But it does work. Includes all the accessories that you saw in this one, except for the pen. Actually, the stylus is missing out of that one, unfortunately. But we have two complete units here. All right, we're going to move on now. All right, next up is this Keen Radio Shack Science Fair Digital Computer Kit. Digital, because it's actually just, well, let's just open it up and I'll show you. Box is in pretty decent shape. You know, not terrific, but not terrible. It's got a nice clean face. Here's our manual for it. But before we go into that, let me just show you, we've got all the program cards for it. And now each of these programs is described in the manual. You basically, like for instance, program 2, you go to program 2 in the manual, and then you wire it up as program 2 specifies. You have your wiring diagrams. Here's program 3, 4, 5, etc. Correlates to all the various program overlays, and I believe this is complete. It goes all the way up to 100. Here's one in here, and it's been wired up already, probably to the specs in here, I'm imagining, but this is how I got it, so I don't know. But as you can see, you basically just do all this wiring. It's all just simple. There's no gates or anything. There's no actual electronics. It's literally just interconnects between, and here's all your supplies and stuff. There's the cover for the battery compartment, which is right there, nice and clean. But anyway, that's all it is. You just interconnect these spring-loaded contacts here with your jumper wires. You have switches here to actually provide the logic, I assume. So here's actually a switches the top there too. So anyway, it like there's a slide switch that connects, you know, makes connections depending on how you have them wired up and all that. So fairly neat. You know, we're getting old here. Probably, let's see, what year was this? I'm sure there's some sort of date inside. I'm thinking, well, there you go, 1977. So it was really, you know, during the era of microcomputers for sure, but made as an obviously some kind of introductory thing for people to learn basic digital electronics and computer type stuff. So there's that. Anyway, let's move on. All right, this is pretty cool. This is a Apple Mouse 2C. So this was a mouse add-on for the Apple 2C. There's a 2C Plus with the LCD display. So here's well, this is Mouse Paint drawing program, and then I guess that'll have the drivers on it and everything to interface to this guy. And here's the actual mouse. This is like the one-button early Mac mouses. But as you can see, it says specifically it just says mouse. All right. Anyway, it's in the original box, original packing, all that good stuff. That is all that comes with it. There is no manual. This did come with a manual, which is not included, unfortunately, but it does have the software and the mouse itself, which is really all you need. And a serial port. So there's that. But at any rate, there you go. Let's move on. All right, and next up we have this sweet Gibson light pen system for the Apple II Plus 2E. Let's pull this off, the sleeve, again, in nice condition, you know, actually pretty darn nice condition. Here's this label right here for this case, which is, interestingly enough, an 8-inch disk drive case with the, okay, so anyway, we got here Pen Painter software. The manual, there's more software here. Let's pull the software out, see what we got. This is a Pen Designer, okay, Pen Painter, Pen Designer. The manual, of course. All right, and there's some kind of a business reply card or warranty card, whatever. Some sort of sleeve. And here's the light pen system itself. It's, oh man, this is really going to need to be cleaned up. I think I'm actually going to take all this. This is really typical of foam. This age, this stuff is just petroleum based, just breaks down over time and just becomes this grody. It's actually, it's fortunate that it hasn't decayed any further than it is. Now it's like a putty, and as you can see, but it's going to eventually start getting all over the components. Here's the light pin itself, and as you can see, this stuff has kind of congealed to the cable, but that's fine. I'll clean this all up. I'm actually probably going to just remove all this, replace it with a similar cutout of more, I don't even know if I'm going to use this kind of stuff. But anyway, there you go. It's a complete Gibson light pin system for the Apple II. This needs to all be cleaned up, but as you can see, there's an edge connector there. So this will plug actually on the inside of the Apple II. And then your pin will come out the back, and got all your software and everything. Very cool. Let's move on. All right, I had to clean up all the boogers from the Gibson light pin system. By the way, that was Gibson's same company that made the koala pad. You might have noticed the logo on the box of that little koala. So same people. Here we have something similar, kind of a combo of the last two items, the Gibson light pen with its drawing programs and the Apple IIc mouse with its drawing programs. This is pretty much the same for the IBM PC. We've got a Mouse Systems PC Paint package here in the original box. Again, you know, not too shabby. There's a little bit of a tear right here in this paper overlay. This is like a sleeve, or it's glued on. Yeah, it's glued on thing over the box. Anyway, let's open this up, see what we got. All right, well, first we can contrast it with the Gibson foam. This is actually still nice and spongy. Actually, it's kind of interesting. I wonder what they made this out of. But anyway, let's see what we have in here. Unfortunately, the first thing I notice is there's a lack of documentation and software, so that's somewhat problematic. However, on the other hand, yes, here it is. Look at this. Vision, I don't know how you're supposed to pronounce that. Applications Manager, Program Disk 1. I don't know if I have the other disk. I used to have this complete package. Hopefully I still do. I don't know. This actually diskette sleeve got so brittle over time, I dropped it and it cracked. But the disk is still good, so it's still in there. I'm going to throw this in there for now. Well, first of all, I guess we should look at the rest of this first. Here's our mouse. This is the Vision mouse. This is actually a Mouse Systems mouse, laser mouse. So that's kind of neat in and of itself. That technology that, you know, was... This is, what year is this? This is like 84. 85, actually, I believe. There's probably a copyright here somewhere. At any rate, we got the Vision module. This is actually where you plug the mouse into. See, there's the phone connector, basically. RJ11, RJ14, I believe, is the designation for that. So everything plugs into this little module. You got your power connector over here, power supply here. That plugs into that module. And then here is your interface with, again, the RJ14 connector for connecting into the module. So it's a complete hardware kit, with the exception of this disk, which probably will have the drivers and everything for it. There doesn't come with the original software, but you know, it might have actually come with this Vision Application Manager. I don't have to look that up, but at any rate, there you have that. It's kind of a cool thing. It would have been way more cool if it was complete, but you know, hey, what can you say? Pretty neat. All right, let's move on. Okay, and in keeping with the theme, sort of graphical input devices, we have this ScanMan handheld scanner for, again, the IBM PC and compatibles. And, there you go. And let's open this up, see what we got inside. First of all, again, we have some foam here, but it seems to be also intact, not a big sticky mess like that Gibson light pen system. All right, Paint Show Plus User's Manual. That's for the software that comes along with it. Some good stuff in there. There's an addendum to the user's manual. Here's a Paint Show Plus version 2.1 addendum, so that goes with that. Here's our user's manual for the actual ScanMan. And so we'll put that there, get our addendum with it. Ah, good, discs. Oh, and an interface board. Hey, this is pretty complete. So let's see what we got here. Disc 1 of the driver, Disc 2 of the driver. Hopefully that's both of them. It doesn't say one of whatever. Here's Paint Show Plus 2.1. This is new version 2.1. And digging in further here, we have looks like our ScanMan interface with the port for the ScanMan itself, which is this mini DIN connector. Ah, more discs, great. Okay, so you have basically the same software in 3.5. Here's here's Scanware. I don't know if this is the same software. Here's Paint Shell Plus 2.1 on 3.5. So, and then I'm guessing maybe this has the same software as this stuff. I don't know. A lot of times in the old days they would distribute the software on both 5.25 and 3.5 because not everybody had both. So that might have been what's going on there. I'm guessing that's what's happening, and this is the same, and this is the same. All right, and the ScanMan itself. So if you don't know what this does, if you've never seen one of these before, this was the this was an early cheaper scanner than you would get in a more dedicated stationary unit where you feed the paper in. Those were extremely expensive around the time this came out. Let's see if we can find a date on here somewhere, or on the software perhaps. 1988. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, there you go. Okay, so so what you did is you basically just you hooked it all up, of course, ran the software, and then you would, here's a button right here, and then it looks like this is I don't know, some kind of contrast setting, and we have I'm guessing this is like the port setting back here, and then you have this looks like a darker and lighter setting. It has this darker and lighter icon here. Anyway, so what you would do is you would place it over what you're trying to scan, and then when you're ready, you would, well, let me show you on the bottom real quick. There's a roller here, and then this is your scan element right here. This is a lens, and actually you can see the scanner element right in there. Here's the label for this bad boy. But anyway, what you did then is you held it over the page you wanted to scan. You would press your button. The system would start then taking in information, and then you would scan, and the roller would tell the software, the rate of your manual scanning. So it's pretty wild, but this is what people did back in the day when they wanted to scan stuff into their computer. All right, let's move on. All right, I've turned on the light that was directly overhead, and so eliminated a lot of the glare that I was experiencing. So I apologize for that earlier, but let's move on. And keeping within the realm of scanners, we have this Oscar optical scanning reader. I really don't know much about this. I found it in my stuff as I was digging through, and actually, I know basically what it is. This is for programming home computers. And so back in the day, God, what was that other unit? For the Apple II primarily, I think, but it was also for all the other platforms, Atari, Commodore, and PC, because it allowed you to, in the old magazines, like Compute Magazine, I believe, and certain magazine publishers, partnered with this other company, I forget their name, but they had a soft strip reader. And so it had this strip of data in the magazine, and what you would do is you'd use this soft strip reader. I think you would actually cut it out, and then you would feed it into this thing, and it was just a bunch of, the strip was a bunch of block data. It was like a barcode, and it would load the program in to your computer from the magazine article, so you wouldn't have to type it in, if you guys remember those days. I certainly do. So Oscar was like a similar product, and probably didn't fare as well as the soft strip reader, because I remember the soft strip reader had support from at least a couple magazines that I used to patronize back in the day. But anyway, this is for the, it says right here, it can be for the whole Atari series, the Commodore series, Timex Sinclair even, which is interesting, TRS-80, TI-99 4A. And which one is this one for? Well, let's find out. I don't know that I know, actually. And unfortunately, it's not complete either. And we can see that this box has suffered a little bit of rain or water damage. So that's a little bit unfortunate. Let's see, so what do we got here? So here's the actual scanner element, and then here's the base unit. Let's slide this out here. Okay, so this is all we got. Oh, look, it's kind of coming apart here. Oh, it's falling apart. Okay. Well, let's see. I don't know if it was necessarily supposed to do that, but since it did, let's take a look at what's inside. This is the battery compartment, so it uses 4 D batteries, which is odd. Here is the insides. Oh, it's got a Signetics. That might be a microcontroller of some sort. Okay, so this is for the Atari TI-99. How could it be for both of those? Those are such disparate platforms. Anyway, there you have it. There's the innards. And then this is the actual scanner element. And here, let's try to piece this back together here. And you would plug. Oh man, how does this go? Okay, a little bit of difficulty because of the battery terminals. All right, there we go. Mostly in there. All right, anyway, for the purposes of this demonstration, that's fine. We can plug that in right there. And you can see there's this little, let's see, where is the scanner element on this thing? It's in there somewhere, I think. I don't know. But anyway, it works. This is a spring contact. And what you would do is, again, same concept as a soft strip, but you'd run it over your data strip from a magazine or whatever, and I think it actually has, it shows a little sample here, I believe, on the box. It's probably what it actually looked like. It's really just a big long barcode, which you can see. Well, if we had a soft strip reader, which, okay, well, I used to have a soft strip reader. I might still have a soft strip reader. It'd be fantastic if I came across it as I'm digging through my stuff. It will also go up for sale once, and if I do. But if you could see the soft strip, it was a lot more dense. It was an inch wide strip, and it had I don't know how many bits or bytes per whatever line or whatever, but it was just more efficient than this seems to be, which is probably why you don't see many more of these. So very obscure, interesting piece of hardware. Let's move on. Okay, so I was looking at this, and I was like, how do you interface this to the computer? And apparently it's through that phono jack right there. So it must do some sort of, what's it called? Anyway, modem type communication. All right, let's move on. Frequency shift keying, if I'm not mistaken, and misspoken in that case. Anyway, speaking of which, we got some modems and some boxed modems. Check this out. Apple modem, Apple personal modem, 300, 1200. Cables not included, unfortunately, but look. This thing is still shrink wrapped. I'm not opening it. That's for whoever buys it, to have that glory, to enjoy that. So we'll just put this aside and just rest assured that there is an Apple personal modem 300/1200 in there. Now moving on to this, here's an Atari SX212 modem. It says it's for use with IBM compatible systems. So it's up. This is a full Hayes AT command set compatible modem. So it's not one of the dumb older modems that old 8-bits used to have, where most of the processing and stuff, which is done through direct interface. This is actually serial with AT commands. Here's our manual, okay, which is kind of interesting that Atari would make a modem for the PC. I guess they were just trying to expand into that market. Here's the actual modem. See if I can get these off here. These are pretty firmly on. I'm going to put these down for just a second. Okay, you got darkness. That's not good. All right, anyway, oh, darn it. Darkness again. Darkness. Oh no, these are on very tight. All right, here we go. Here's the modem. Atari SX212. It's just a pretty simple modem, It's a modem. Cable, power supply. Looks like, isn't this crazy? You used to get a certificate of warranty for a data cable. Ah, the good old days. All right, anyway, here's some Atari collateral for the thing. Basically, that's it. Modem. Let's move on. All right, let's do joysticks. All right, first on deck is this Merlin joystick by Wico. And this is for the PC. And let's see if I can... Oh, gosh, I can't open that without ruining the box even further with my claws digging in there. Just try to do this without ripping this tab off. Oh, this is just difficult. There we go. Okay. Very hard to do this one hand. One of these days I'm going to have to get a proper recording camera. Anyway, what do you know? There's a joystick inside. Let's pull this whole guy out so you can see it. It's kind of a neat joystick. It's got this crazy, well, this is a universal left-hand, right-hand button. Obviously, you got your fire trigger here, and then this is just some sort of switch, auto switch, yeah, auto fire switch, like a turbo switch. So I got these sweet suction cups, so you can, they still work. Just got to probably moisten them. PC connector. All right, nice box. Thank you, Wico, for a fine product. Let's move on here. Keeping within the IBM PC realm, here's a couple IBM PCjr joysticks. new in the box, shrink wrapped. So I'm not going to open them up, obviously. I'm going to leave that up to the person who purchases them. Boxes are still in pretty nice shape, of course, and guaranteed to have a IBM PC joystick inside. All right, moving on. There's another Apple II entry to the whole Apple II cadre of things. All right, never mind. Anyway, here's the Apple II joystick. That's it. This is actually a newer one, so you plug it into the joystick port on the 2E. This has the platinum color scheme as well. And these were really, in my experience, very hardy, durable joysticks. They didn't last forever. You had to occasionally open them up and clean them once they got really dirty inside. You have these calibration dials down here to calibrate the XY of the joystick, but very durable. Not the most comfortable to hold all the time, but the buttons are in the right place. So these were kind of like the premium joysticks of the day. I believe these were made by Kraft for Apple. I don't think Apple actually manufactured these by themselves because the Kraft joysticks were very similar. But anyway, really nice joysticks for the Apple II. And that one's kind of neat because it's the whole platinum color scheme and everything. Here's a nice TRS-80 joystick, Deluxe joystick. Unfortunately, got some pretty major box damage right there, but otherwise, for the most part, nice box. And this is a lid that slides off, and we have this. We have this styrofoam insert. Here's a little manual to tell you everything you need to know about using your brand new joystick. A very complicated device, I'm sure. And here's our joystick. Oh my goodness, I just pulled off the cap for the joystick. This does not want to come out very easily. All right, well, again, we have this. This is really typical. The foam coagulates to the cable. I see this a lot, actually, when this type of styrofoam meets this polyvinyl type coating on these cables. You get this adherence of the styrofoam to the cable. Let's see if I can sort of ease it out gently. Okay, there we go. Here it is. Again, nice condition. Got your calibration. Oh, that's an interesting calibration system down there. These are like levers. Anyway, same kind of concept. Got your DIN connector for your TRS-80 system. So there you go. Joysticks, people. Let's move on. Okay, apparently we have some sort of rodent abatement going on over here. Either that or just this cat is going crazy. Let's move on to printers. We got these cool printers. Here's a Commodore MPS 803 printer. And let's move this other one aside here. Decent box. We got a little bit of a problem here. Big kind of flap tear, but that's all right. Who's counting that? Let's try to get this open, though. Let's see. How do we do this? Oh, here we go. There. Looks like a puzzle. There. Here. All right. Pull this guy out. What do we got down here? Oh, manual. Aha. And look at that. Test printout of some sort. Probably from back in the day. Haven't had a chance to test this yet. I'm assuming it works. But let's see what we got. Here's our manual. And got some good styrofoam. Pull these off so we can get a better look at this guy. There you have it. Simple. That's a pretty printer, actually. This is the Commodore 16 color scheme. I don't know that it was specific to the Commodore 16, but anyway, there you have it. Pretty nice. Let's try to push all this stuff aside really quick so that we can move on. Oh, there goes the box. All right, that's all right. Let's move on to the Atari 1027 letter quality printer. Look at that sexy beast. So again, box, pretty good shape. Not too terrible. Well, we got impacted here, I suppose. Let's see if I can take this out. This is going to be difficult. All right, here, I know what we're going to do. I'm going to turn this upside down. Okay, that was wild. There we go. Up. All right. Aha, look at that. Now, by the way, I don't know if it matters, but there's the baggie that it was originally covered with which it was covered. here's our printer, but let's focus on the accessories real quick. Here's a nice cover. I don't know that this was ever used. It looks like it was, well, it's possible that it was just refolded and placed back in the bag. Here's our cable. I'm not going to pull this out necessarily because I don't want to deal with all that, but it's been pressed into the styrofoam, so anyway, that's why. And it probably has the residue I explained with that other thing just a few minutes ago. Anyway, I don't know what this is. Oh, now I do. It's Launa 40 for 1027. That's exactly what it is. Some sort of liquid. And this bottle is frosted, by the way. It's a pretty interesting little squeeze bottle. I don't know, I guess lubrication for the gears or whatever. Power supply. Looks like we have here a, what is this? Is that? It's a roller, I believe, a replacement roller of some sort. That's kind of cool that it's still there. Here's our printer. It's very nice condition, very clean. Nothing wrong with it. Externally, sure it powers up, probably works just fine. Well, that's not a guaranteed statement because printers could be problematic. But let's see if we can, yeah, head carriage moves back and forth pretty readily. So anyway, there you go. Nice 8-bit printers, Commodore and Atari in the box. Let's move on. All right, we're running a bit longer than I had wanted to. I hope you're playing this video on like 1.5 speed or something, but I'm going to scream through the rest of these peripherals here real quickly so we can finish this out. We're almost done. This is an, well, as you can see, it's AppleCD SC. So it's SCSI external CD drive for the Macintosh. So this is actually a pretty cool peripheral for your Macintosh system. Unfortunately, it has a problem. If you insert the cartridge, there's actually a CD cartridge in there already, it'll try to seek and spin it up. It spins it up, it tries to seek, it has a problem, and it ejects it. I believe it is related to a dirty head. So anyway, that's the deal with that. So nice box, nice unit itself. Needs a little work. Maybe somebody with the expertise can fix that. I would do it myself. From what I know, it sounds like a pretty simple repair, but I've actually opened up the case. You do then have to open up the CD drive itself, the enclosure of the CD, so that gets a little bit more complicated. I believe there's stickers and stuff. I didn't want to get into it. You can do it if you want. I'm sure it's reparable. I've heard such. So moving on, this is a real simple IBM PC Convertible. Now the PC Convertible was the IBM's I couldn't even really call it a laptop. It was a portable computer for sure. And it was just crazy though, because what you did to expand onto it, you added these peripherals to it. So here's the instructions for it. So you could see kind of the basic outline. This is the system itself, and it was a clamshell type computer. So this would flip up. This is the back of it, and these are your add-on modules. Here it's showing in this little diagram. So here it's showing you how you add on this serial parallel adapter. What's interesting about this is that it's labeled IBM property. So I'm assuming that this was once part of IBM for some reason. There's some kind of warning about radio frequency in there. So, you know, there you have it. There's that. And then lastly, here's this Commodore 1571 disk drive in the box. Not the best box. It's kind of punched in right here. I don't know if you can see the angle. Anyway, it's got a little water damage. It's not perfect, but, you know, anyway, you're not getting it for the box anyway. You're getting it probably for the drive, and here that is. We got a power cable and our data cable. Here's our drive. No manual. Don't think you need a manual to know how to use a disk drive for the most part, but, you know, here we have it. Nice Commodore 1571, assumed to be working. There is some, you can see there's yellowing on it. The sun must have been shining from this direction, wherever it was set up. But, you know, there we go. Let's move on. All right, I got a couple computers to show you, and then I have one last thing after this that's pretty cool. I think you'll want to wait around for that. Here we have a Commodore 64 in the box, and the serial number on the box actually does match the unit inside. Now, I remember this unit. I played with this a long time ago. I wrote here on pencil on the case, no video, because this does not have video output. So basically, inside the accessory box here, we only have a TV modulator switch, which actually these are getting harder to find, so it's good to have one of those if you're going to be hooking up to an original or an older TV. Video cable, and of course the venerable but always crappy Commodore 64. I swear this is the worst. This is the most poorly manufactured computer ever, and I say that from personal experience. I have a lot of respect for the computer. It's a neat computer. I played with it. I'm an Apple II guy myself. Grew up on the Apple II, but I did play with the Commodore 64, not extensively, but I did some programming with the sound and stuff, and it's a neat machine. But quality-wise, in terms of the manufacturing, these things are junk. You can have 60 of them, and 55 of them will have one problem or another. So, but anyway, this is a nice. It's nice if you want to get the box. I guess the box isn't in terrible shape. It's fairly clean. Got a little bit of a tear right there, and what else? It looks. Otherwise, it's a pretty nice box. It's not terrible. So there's that. Let me set this aside in the interest of moving on to this Yamaha CX5M music computer. How cool is that? So this is a MSX computer. MSX was a standard that Microsoft made in conjunction with, who was the company in Japan? SoftBank, was it? Anyway, but it was a collaboration. Microsoft, I guess. I'm sure Bill Gates was involved. But it was a collaboration between Microsoft and it's a Japanese company, and they were primarily sold in the Japanese markets, these MSX computers. Not incredibly familiar with them. I had many MSX computers in my day, but never really got into the nitty-gritty. But anyway, this is pretty complete. It's got our owner's manual for the computer, and lots of pretty diagrams and cool text and stuff in there. Basic reference manual for what I assume is the built-in BASIC. Here's the handle for the box. It's cool that that's still there. And let's let's get this opened up here. Let's see if we can take this out of a plastic bag real quick. It's in really nice shape, very clean. Assuming it works, let's just plug it in really quick and see if it smokes. I'm kidding. I doubt it's going to. These old 8-bits, usually, except for Commodore, are usually pretty reliable. So there you go, power button, cartridge slot. Don't hear any beeps or anything. Don't know if it's supposed to beep. But it's on. It's powered on, and it's not smoking, so that's a good sign. But these basically, well, I can't really say I know for sure. But these were... obviously, it's called a music computer, so it's geared towards music. It has MIDI interfaces on the back, built in. Well, no, actually, I take that back. That's monitor and keyboard. Or, I'm sorry, monitor and cassette. And, oh, there they are. Here are your MIDI ports and phono jacks. And so it was, and then I guess you have this, here's a port here, and you can attach a external, it says, zoom in there, music keyboard. So it was made to basically be a composing computer, a computer for composing music in conjunction with other peripherals and stuff. Now, I had a pretty complete MSX setup. Might still have it, might come across it, I don't know. But in the meantime, this is what I got. Let's move on. All right, folks, here's the final item for this video. A Thrustmaster rudder control system. Now, you may be asking, what the heck? Why are you showing us this? It's just the rudder control system for the PC and Mac, by the way. Well, I'll get to that, because this is the boxed element of this last part, and it'll segue into the next item that I'll show you. But first, let me show you this. So, this is basically a rudder control system for flight simulators, so you can actually have the full-on experience. Now, this thing isn't without its problems. We have some broken elements here. This piece of plastic is broken off, as you can see. It's also cracked over here. I don't know what that is from, but it's really a minor thing. This is made to do this. Okay, now I've only flown a plane once, so, and that was just sort of a starter thing, like, hey, fly your plane around, and it was like for my birthday. Anyway, so I don't remember all this, but that's what you got. And then you have this DB15 connector. Okay, Thrustmaster rudder control system. Now, that's the boxed part of this. Let me now bring in this guy, which is, bear with me. Look at this. This is the rest of your flight simulator control package. Get these cables sorted out here. Okay. You got yourself a complete flight simulator in real life control kind of thing here. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but you're looking at it. This is what it is, you know. You've got, our rudder, or not rudder control, steering, whatever, flaps, I don't know what you call them. Look at this. For your Cessna, of course, you got your rocket launcher and Gatling gun thing. You know, of course, all Cessnas come equipped with armaments. That's a start button. You got your brake on and off. Pause, I guess that's when you want to, like, you know, when you're up in the air, you want to pause and go get a drink or a sandwich or something, and then, you know, come back to your plane. I'm assuming these are all actual controls that you would have in a plane. Lights, reset, when your engine dies, I guess, I don't know. Anyway, I'm being silly, of course. Prop control, this doodad. It even has a fuel mixture control, which is kind of neat. Your gears, your flaps, up and down, all that. So what does this box have to do with the rudder control, other than being obviously a match? Well, not unfortunately much. The connection back here is, as you can see, a DB9 connector, and this is a DB15. So this is not a Thrustmaster product. It's Flight Link, as it says right there. I don't think there's a label. Oh yeah, there is a label. There you go. So it's a model, I can't really read that, AVF, and then I'm trying to zoom that in. There we go. I don't know if you can really see that. AVC maybe? Yeah, AVC. Flight Link, etc., etc. So these don't really go together, but this is real simple in terms of what it is. It's just a bunch of, you know, pots and switches and things. So it probably can be wired to go together. I don't know. I'm not going to make a guarantee on that claim. As you can see, it's not without its issues. The back panel is loose. It's just a matter of, you know, getting some screws to attach that again. But there are, somebody must have opened this for a reason. As you can see, there's some loose wires. There's another loose wire in here. There's a microcontroller back there. You know, there's a board with some chips on it. You can't really see it. But anyway, I thought it was cool. I just wanted to include it because I had the Thrustmaster pedals in the box, and I had this thing, and I decided, hey, let's just show them together because it's kind of neat. You don't really see something like this all the time. And, you know, maybe there's somebody out there that would like to grab this set and maybe figure out how to wire it together and then have themselves a nice, fun time flight simulating in the real. Okay, and by the way, if I didn't make it clear, this is also for the PC, I am pretty sure. Based on the connectors, this would probably go into your joystick port. So there you have that. Alright, well I hope you enjoyed the video. There's a purpose to all this. So it used to be part of my collection, but I'm no longer collecting and I'm trying to divest myself of it. Also, it's all for sale. Look in the description for links to the Vintage Computer Federation forums where I have ongoing sales of all my items. If you want to be notified of future videos where I showcase things that I'm selling out of my collection, please subscribe to my channel. Also, please share it with everyone you know, including your grandmother, because, you know, maybe she needs a Commodore 1571 disk drive, you don't know. And also, do me a favor, and for some reason you thought this was fun, interesting, cool, whatever, give me a like. It'll help me out in some way. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Again, we'll be having more videos. I got thousands of items to go through, literally. So there's going to be many more videos of interesting things that I find in my collection that I put up for sale. And again, go into the comments, the description below to find the link to the Vintage Computer Federation forums where I have everything for sale. If you have a comment, question, whatever, leave it for me and I will respond as appropriate as time permits. Thank you very much for watching, and I appreciate your time. See you later.